So as you're seeing in this beautiful image here, I'll just let you watch for a second as the heat shield is blown off, and what you're seeing is the actual rover and helicopter itself attached, making its way down via parachute to the surface of Mars before finally coming to a stop.
Welcome cartel members, anons, Facebook friends, and any other random YouTube viewer that might be watching. Thanks for joining me. My name is Julio Hawkes, and I am the Theorizing Theorist. Today, we're going to be talking about Mars and this helicopter that be hovering about, this drone, and all the other wonderful, fun stuff that be happening around Mars. Now, I'm going to show you or introduce you, hopefully, to a channel called SECURETEAM10. Now, they've been going through some very interesting issues, to say the least. They were very good at uncovering and debunking and exposing some of these conspiracies in regards to UFOs, and he would accidentally even dabble into some of the anon stuff, like he would hear or see, like for instance, the helicopters that came and landed over there in Los Angeles at that Ecuadorian consulate or whatever it was. He covered that. He also covered the hoax or the New Zealand shooting. He covers that, but not in, he doesn't say anything about it being a hoax, because at that time you would have gotten in trouble. So he instead showed how they did it and never even mentioned it. Really clever, but they still booted that video off the channel. So anyway, long story short, he ended up getting busted. A very curious and weird situation. He said he was abducted by the cops, and he came out with all kinds of stuff. Long story short, he was abusing pills, it looks like, and drunk, beat his girlfriend or beat his wife, got arrested, and that's what it looks like. At least I can't tell you that that's what happened, because to be honest, with all the stuff that he was doing and some of the stuff he's claiming, and if some of this stuff was really happening, let's say the you know, these bad people were coming after him and trying to silence him, it'd be hard for him to tell everybody, hey, this is what really happened. So anyway, like, subscribe. I'm gonna catch you after this video real quick. It's SECURETEAM10. Be sure to subscribe to his channel as well. He doesn't really need my help. He has 2 million subscribers, but he just came back, and I'm an big fan of his. So even though he's a wife beater or whatever he is, we don't even know that's what he did. But either way, let me know in the comments section below if I'm wrong for even promoting this guy. But either way, it's really relevant information to this case. So we're gonna watch this video from SECURETEAM10. He talks a little bit about how he shouldn't be alive. He had surgery, but that has nothing to do with what's going on. You're gonna have to Google Tyler Glocken or SECURETEAM10, what happened to them, and then you'll see. But let's check this video out, and I'll catch you after this video. So stay tuned. After this video, I'll be back.
Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with SECURETEAM. Now, I want you to follow this entire video until the end, because we're going to cover a lot of things here that just may change your mind about planet Mars and why we are visiting this planet so much, why we are sending so many rovers and satellites and orbiters, and now the new Mars helicopter, which was sent to the planet along with the rover that carried it. The rover, which goes by the name Perseverance, carried this helicopter, also known as the Ingenuity Mars helicopter. So as you're seeing in this beautiful image here, I'll just let you watch for a second as the heat shield is blown off, and what you're seeing is the actual rover and helicopter itself attached, making its way down via parachute to the surface of Mars before finally coming to a stop. Alright, so, and here you are seeing some of the still frames taken where the rover is now detaching from the helicopter. It's like a little mini drone, actually. The helicopter drops down, detaches, and then the rover backs up and captures the very first test flight on video, which is the big news right now. And again, watch this whole video, because I'm almost 100% certain as to why they are now not only sending rover after rover and satellite after satellite, but also this new helicopter, and you just may be too after this video is over. So here is the new video of the test flight of this helicopter. Just a quick test to see that it can move up, fly, hover, and not crash and burn right away. And almost right off the bat, you see in the distance, and this only comes up in separate frames, so this is not a speck on the lens or anything like that, but it appears as if right away, right as the drone is deployed from the rover, we can see something in the distance in this official NASA still image that appears almost to be something possibly flying by or sitting static in the air from a distance, monitoring this new landing of this helicopter. And so you're looking at this high-resolution photo here, and as we zoom in up to the left, we can see what looks to be something way in the distance. Now, could it be a speck of dust? Possibly. However, this is after the rover had landed. Dust had settled, and as you will see, we have another frame found by another YouTuber that would appear to show the same object, only at a different angle, where you can see more of the object rather than possibly what we saw in the earlier frame of the object maybe on its side. But as you're seeing here from the next frame, we can see a much more detailed image of whatever this thing is. Yes, it's still blurry, and you'll get that at such a distance, but it's triangular. This object actually seems to have some color to it as well. You can see some reds in there, some blacks, some greens possibly, but it almost looks like something is flying, you know, and turning, because Mars does have an atmosphere. So, was this rover landing being monitored? NASA and the government would not just use taxpayer money up into the trillions of dollars, sending rover after rover, space probe after space probe to Mars, and helicopters for a look at the scenery. There's no need for a helicopter unless they are looking for something. So let's first start out showing evidence of a basic civilization. Okay, we'll just say in the past. And this here is one of my favorite pieces of evidence because it shows what looks like the foundation of a perfect square building that at one time was built on planet Mars, now mere ruins covered in sand. And as you can see with a little bit of contrast, because NASA, they like to play a little game when they upload their official images. They like to change the contrast and the brightness and the color of these photographs to hide things, to hide anomalies. But as you can see, this is a square. It's pretty self-explanatory. You want to tell me that this came from nature itself and that this doesn't look like... How many builders do we have watching this video right now? Tell me that doesn't look like a foundation. So let's move on. We also have circular foundations found around the planet. Rocks put together, forming perfect circles. Here's another one of my favorites. This is called the engine because amongst the sand and rocks and pebbles, we see this object that looks somewhat like a part of an engine. It's got a circular tube coming out of the side, totally sticks out. Now for some even more devastating evidence. Comes from satellite images of planet Mars of the so-called Mars monolith. What you are seeing was captured directly from a satellite orbiting Mars, snapping high-res pictures, and you're seeing the image enlarged 3 times here. You can see it. You can see it square. You can see that it's got some height to it. We see the elongated shadow, and we can also see that it's basically in the middle of nowhere. Now, speaking of monoliths, we've also spoken on this channel in other videos about a very mysterious moon of Mars called Phobos. And again, guys, if you're new to the channel, go to my videos and just search my videos for certain terms like Phobos, Mars, and you'll get all of my videos on those different topics. So here is yet another monolith, this time found on this little potato-shaped moon circling Mars, where we see yet again another structure sticking out like a sore thumb, nothing else around it. And it looks like the monolith from the film 2001: Space Odyssey. It's an amazing photograph. NASA cannot explain these things. Moving on, we have evidence of not only structures, but possible machinery to build said structures or to do mining of some sort. Another favorite image of what I call the crane. And you can go back and check my past videos where we focus strictly on this strange moon called Phobos. So here is the Phobos Crane, as it's called. And as you can see, it doesn't look like it belongs. We can see this square or rectangular structure coming up from the ground, casting a shadow with what looks like an arm coming out of it. Here are some close-ups and some different colors and contrasts. You know, this thing could be drilling for something, mining for something. This could be a craft of some sort. We don't know. A building, a base. Your guess is as good as mine. But the image itself and the object itself, whatever it is, it's artificial. I mean, it's common sense. These images I'm showing you, you don't have to know exactly what they are. The mere fact that there are artificial structures and official NASA images on these planets and moons is evidence in itself that there is something we're not being told, and why we're now sending rovers and helicopters to further surveil what is really on Mars. We have what look like possible more buildings or a base of some kind. This structure found on Google Earth, again, using map and imagery from satellites around Mars, where we see what looks like a string of buildings or just one long building with smaller buildings surrounding it or other buildings protruding from it. And this is not a glitch or something like that. I've studied satellite imagery from NASA for years. I know what glitches look like, and they don't look like this. This is an object down on the surface. Now tell me that doesn't look like some sort of building complex or a base. Now going quickly here, a few more things. Evidence of construction, another favorite. I mean, might as well say they're all my favorites. We have what is known as the Mars tomb. It sort of looks like a keyhole or an exclamation point, but it's, again, in the middle of nowhere, sharp geometric shapes, and is identical to the Kufun-era tombs of Japan that were built right around 300 BC or so. Here you're seeing a side-by-side comparison with the Mars image to the left and an image from Japan of one of these tombs, these massive megaliths that, to me, I mean, it's a no-brainer. They look identical. So now, if we can prove that there's construction, then there has to be life. Well, we have the infamous image of the Walker on Mars, probably one of the most famous Mars anomaly images ever snapped by one of the rovers. You would have never seen it when they found what looked like, and what looks to me and what I believe to be, a man's figure. Obviously, I don't know if it's a man or an alien or what, but we see a head, we see an arm, we see the back, we see the legs as if it's walking. NASA tried to say this was a rock. I've never seen a rock like this. And not only do we have evidence of what could be beings, like in this image, that stand upright and walk, we also have imagery of what look like and what could be organisms on Mars of a lower intelligence, as seen in this famous image here that we revealed a year or two back. Yet another image snapped by one of the rovers of a rocky cliff, but as you'll notice, right in the middle of these rocks, as they come to a point, we see a strange circular object with sort of an orange color sticking out or grasping on. And as we zoomed in, we found what has now become known as the Mars crab. And this thing is freaky. I mean, it's clear. This is not a rock. This is not a part of any of the rock structures surrounding it. This thing has legs or tentacles coming out, gripping onto the rocks, sitting there in the shade, and the rover caught it. And so lastly, we also have evidence of bones scattered across the planet. We have images such as this of a very human-like looking skull, but with some little differences sticking up out of the sand. You can see the top of the skull, the two eyes, the nose, and what look like two large objects down where the chin area is. Here we have another object that just doesn't blend. It sort of reminds me of one of the helmets from the Aliens films or the Prometheus film. But yet again, it does look strange. Here we have another image that many believe shows yet another skull partially sticking up out of the sand. We see the nose, we see the orbital areas, the eye areas, the skull, and there are even images of what look like full skeletons found in rover photos scattered around the planet, as you're seeing in this one. This is a more frequent one that was found that does look like skeletal remains. Now, can I be sure? 100%? Of course not. But you look at it, you tell me. Because to me, you know, it looks very similar to human skeletons that are dug up or found still intact here on Earth. Looks very, very similar. So this is just a handful of images I've just shown you from buildings and structures on Mars, to machinery or ships that could be mining on Mars, to megaliths and monoliths, evidence of beings or creatures on the planet, skeletal remains, and, of course, the mysterious objects in the skies that potentially are observing our rovers and will be observing this helicopter as it will now be flying over the surface of the planet. So, with that, guys, you tell me what you think. Thank you again for all of your support. By the way, we have new merch out. We have Secure Team face masks. They're awesome. We have shirts, hoodies. Check out the links below. Our Patreon is back up. If you want to support us monthly for $1 or $5 or $10, I'll even send you an autographed sticker. You can throw it on your laptop. I get fan photos all the time of people showing me their stickers. So, you know, everything you guys do to support this channel has been amazing over these past 7 or 8 years. So, again, thanks for stopping by, guys. I'll see you back soon with another video. And as always, stay safe.
Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, let's go check out the non-believers, the debunkers or whatever, and see what they have to say over here at Godlike Productions. So go to Godlike Productions if you want to check out any of these other stories. They go over a lot of very interesting stuff. Very, very wonderful website there. But today we're going to go over the fake Mars landing. And I advise you to go there and check it out if you want to see all the videos that they have. We're going to go over a couple of the comments here just to make sure, you know, we all kind of get a feel for what the community and what the rest of the conspiracy theorists of the world are thinking. But they're all so far at 53, so fake, no dust flow at all, at landing and takeoff impossible. And we're going to watch a video at the end of this that kind of debunks it and shows what they're talking about. See the dust flow at 247. Now, I'm not going to show you those videos in particular. I'm going to show you the video that's actually going through it and debunking it. So it says, let's see how Dr. Astro debunking this. And then it says, any dumbass thinks Mars landing is real. And it shows, you know, the comments the comments are going to be in blue, and then the response or the new comment is going to be in white, or I guess the old comment in blue. The comment they're responding to, I guess, is what I should say. 1939 technology. There's a reason we're going through this. I want you guys to see another thing that was kind of relevant. Nope, it's all been shown to be happening on Canada's Devon Island. Now, Devon Island is what I wanted you guys to talk about. So, can we sue NASA? I don't think so. But if you guys know anything about Devon Island, or you're from there or around there or visited there, please comment down below in the comment section and let us know what you know. Why so many dumbasses in the world? If you are not dumb, why not 5-star the fact? Flop is full of retard pimps, poor souls, where is Astro? Fact slaps on your face, you have nothing to say. Now, I don't know what that was about, but I included it because why not? And someone says, yep, fake. I think he's more concerned with the impending launch of that SpaceX grain silo thing. I gotta get a drink. Sorry, guys. If you know what he's talking about, this SpaceX grain silo thing, let me know. What do you think? Is Mars mission real? No, and another thing is Mars' atmosphere is only 1% the density of Earth's, and a helicopter could not fly in such a thin atmosphere. This all took place on Devon Island. So everyone's saying Devon Island, but one thing I wanted to remind everybody that I'm not sure everybody knows is when Elon Musk launched the Tesla and it's supposedly floating around Mars, that's been debunked fully. He even kind of trolled us by showing us an image of the green screen behind the car and all of that. Completely fake. Lots of people still think there's a Tesla going around the moon or Mars, whatever. That just goes to show you how these guys are. So we're going to watch this video, and I'll catch you at the end of this next video. Just to give like channel identification stuff. So if you don't want to stay tuned for that, I understand. But yeah, crazy world. Smoke some weed. It is all good. Fake sun direction and shadow direction are not lining up. So with that said, guys, I'm going to check out this video with you guys here. It goes through all the debunks and stuff and shows how it's on Devon Island, and it compares it. So really compelling and interesting and convincing stuff. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys think and at the minute mark and whatnot. So I'll catch you at the end here.
Last week, NASA, the biggest black budget black hole in existence, sucking in $52 million of American taxpayer money every single day, just spent $2.3 billion of your dollars to allegedly land a remote control car on Mars for the 5th time. Yes, the multi-billion-dollar charade of landing on Mars has been happening since 1976, and thanks to the gullible, unquestioning masses enthralled and duped by these ridiculous Hollywood performances, they will most likely continue for decades to come. To begin with, the tiny reddish circular light in the sky known as Mars is not a spherical terra firma world millions of miles away capable of landing a rover on. All of the so-called planets were known to the ancients as wandering stars, because they differ from the fixed stars in their relative motions only. To them, stars were not spherical worlds millions of miles away, or suns trillions of miles away, as we are brainwashed to believe they are today. Stars were and are simply luminaries, immaterial lights in the sky, several thousand, not millions, of miles away, that revolve over and around the Earth. The Masonic magicians at NASA and the other world space agencies, using lying actor-nauts and Hollywood tricks like green screens, wires, harnesses, and endless amounts of CGI images, through pseudoscience books and programs, mass media and public education, universities and government propaganda, have systematically indoctrinated the entire world into believing what is nothing but an elaborate piece of science fiction. As you can clearly see for yourself with a bit of research, a telescope or high-zoom camera, and an open, discerning mind actually honestly admitting to yourself what is and what isn't a CGI, computer-generated image, it is obvious that the light in the sky known as Mars is not some science fiction desert planet millions of miles away. The CGI images NASA shows of a spherical world are clearly and admittedly not photographs, and look nothing like Mars when seen through a telescope. Meanwhile, the actual photographs NASA claims are coming from this completely other world look exactly like they are coming from Devon Island, Canada, with a red tint added in post-processing. There is nothing being shown in NASA's photographs of Mars that cannot easily be faked on Earth, and given the lack of skepticism or scrutiny from the gullible masses, they barely have to fake any evidence too. Just give them a computer screen of a CGI parachute with a CGI rover landing on a CGI Mars, and film a bunch of compartmentalized NASA 20-something employees straight out of space camp getting giddy and high-fiving each other, and that is literally all it takes. The unquestioning masses now thoroughly believe NASA has landed their fifth remote control car tens of millions of miles away and are receiving photographs from it through the internet. Yes, that's right. How do you think NASA sends and receives all data to and from this remote control car? They apparently have internet technology so strong and fast that they can operate a remote control vehicle from tens of millions of miles away. Do we, the public, have any independent evidence whatsoever that such technology actually exists? Of course not, and it isn't necessary. Again, because the science fiction indoctrinated masses are so bedazzled by their pseudoscientific priests at NASA that they don't require things like proof or evidence. When they are pressed on such matters, like the original moon landing tapes, LEM blueprints, telemetry data, and other physical proof, NASA says they filmed over the original moon landing tapes and conveniently lost all the physical evidence. As NASA actor-naut Don Pettit stated, "I would go back to the moon in a nanosecond, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again." So that is their excuse for why we haven't been back to the moon in 50 years, because they destroyed the technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. But apparently they have had the tech since 1976, just a few years after the Apollo missions, to send Viking to Mars, which is allegedly over 100 times further away than the moon. Now let's talk about the supposed parachutes deployed by these rovers when landing. NASA says the surface pressure on Mars is only 0.3% of the surface pressure on Earth, and equivalent to the pressure at about 23 miles above Earth. This fact alone blows their hoax out of the water. Any skydiver knows there is not nearly enough air matter at that pressure to provide any kind of lift for opening and billowing out the parachutes NASA uses to land its Mars probes. No parachute ever devised has been able to successfully deploy at that altitude. They simply stream straight back, then never fill the rest of the way down. Joe Kittinger's record highest, fastest, and longest parachute dive from the Earth's upper atmosphere had him free-falling from only 19 miles high for 15 minutes at 767 miles per hour, and his drogue chute proved useless and offered no deceleration. Yet NASA would have us believe, for example, that their 2008 Phoenix's drone parachute managed to somehow slow it down from 12,738 miles per hour to 123 miles per hour in just 2.86 minutes before its final landing. In other words, NASA is claiming to do something on Mars that we have no evidence is even possible on Earth at significantly lower altitude and 16 times slower speed. NASA must have since gotten the memo because this time, for Perseverance, they claim instead that they fitted it with a special aeroshell and heat shield, which allows the, quote, drag of the Martian atmosphere to do all the heavy lifting for them, somehow slowing the craft from over 12,500 miles per hour to just 1,000 miles per hour before deploying the parachute. But again, even delving into these facts and figures is superfluous, because NASA simply shows us CGI pictures of a car on a parachute, and nobody questions it anyway. NASA.gov says that, quote, the Perseverance spacecraft departs Earth at a speed of about 24,600 miles per hour, about 39,600 kilometers per hour. The trip to Mars will take about 7 months, and about 300 million miles, 480 million kilometers. The actual fastest vehicle that exists is the SR-71 Blackbird fighter jet, which can travel an incredible Mach 3.3, or 2,100 miles per hour. With no evidence whatsoever, NASA claims this ridiculous-looking CGI cupcake on a hot plate can achieve speeds 12 times faster than the fastest actual flying vehicle in the world. The endless red flags were no different with the Mars Phoenix rover landing in 2008. On June 3, 2008, MX News featured a picture given to them by NASA of the Phoenix's first dig into Martian soil, but on June 6, 2008, 3 days later, the London Daily Telegraph reported from NASA that, quote, another communications glitch stopped NASA's Phoenix lander again from making its first dig into the Martian soil. Unable to keep their stories straight, NASA gave out news blurbs before their time. Then, when Mars Phoenix lander's robotic arm photographed image 89662759, taken at 14:39:37 LST, and image 89662868 at 14:41:23 LST, only 2 minutes and 46 seconds later. In the first image, there is a fallen loose screw visible by the leg which disappears before the second photo is taken. NASA themselves claim the robot arm did not touch Martian soil until the next day, so they cannot claim to have moved it themselves, and the topical arrangement of sand and rocks remains exactly the same, so it cannot be explained by strong winds. So who picked up the screw? More than likely, an observant and well-meaning stagehand picked it up between shots. Back during the Mars Spirit rover, NASA messed up then as well, changing the Columbia commemorative plaque from the one featured just seconds before launch to a totally different one when supposedly on Mars. These are all smoking gun pieces of evidence that NASA is faking these supposed Mars landings. But again, without a critically thinking and informed populace, we will continue to be duped over and over by these media charades.
So there you have it, but I don't think we're going to continue to be duped. I think we are awakening. A lot of people are awakening to all this bullshit. So anyway, show your support for this here All-American Cartel. PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo links in the description below. Touch the like button, gently of course, you don't want to break your screen. Share, subscribe, and comment. Email me if you're interested, an All-American Cartel LLC at gmail.com. That's all I really have for you. Please guys, donate if you can donate, even $1. It really keeps the channel running. Haven't gotten a donation in about a month, so any bit helps. I really do appreciate it. Comments also do help, likes help, all that stuff helps. So with that said, you guys know the routine. As always, to God be the glory.